Well, he was one of the most influential diplomats in the Middle East, but Prince Bandar bin Sultan has been removed from his post as Saudi Arabia's intelligence chief with immediate effect. State media say he was relieved from the post at his request. He's been succeeded by his deputy, Yousef al-Idrissi. So let's take a closer look at the career of the man who was head of Saudi Arabia's intelligence agency. Prince Bandar was appointed chief of Saudi intelligence by his uncle, King Abdullah, in July 2012. Before the appointment, he spent 7 years as head of the kingdom's National Security Council. He previously served for 22 years as a Saudi ambassador to the U.S. His close ties to the Bushes led some to call him Bandar Bush. Prince Bandar has been a strong voice for military intervention in Syria to topple Iran's ally, President Bashar al-Assad. Khalid Al-Maina is the editor-at-large of the Saudi Gazette. He says he's not surprised that Prince Bandar's gone.
Well, he was controversial and influential, but I think for everything a time has to come to an end. And I think Bandar has had a long career. Personally, I think he needs some rest to spend some more time with his family. He's a family person. He loves his family a lot. He's always around them. He takes pride in their success. So I think it's time for him to step back and do things for himself.
Joining us now from Washington is Lawrence Korb. He's a senior fellow at the Center for American Progress. Welcome once again to Al Jazeera. Are you surprised that Prince Bandar has been removed from his post?
No, I'm not, because last October he basically criticized President Obama for not taking action after the chemical weapons were apparently used in Syria. He's also basically been providing a lot of material to a lot of the extremists in Syria, which I think also annoyed the United States. So I think basically what this means is that the United States can step up its aid to the rebels in Syria, but keep it from going to the extremists.
So should we read anything into the timing of this? He's been replaced right after President Obama's visit to Saudi Arabia. Does this mean that U.S. foreign policy is dictating who they work with in the region?
Well, I think there's no coincidence that it followed on President Obama's visit to Saudi Arabia. But while President Obama was visiting Saudi Arabia, Prince Bandar was not doing his job. He was on leave for basically 2 months for medical reasons. He just got back last week. So I think they wanted to let him come back and not fire him, if you will, while he was away on medical leave. And I think, as your other guest mentioned, he is 65 years old now. And so his health, obviously, given what he just happened, the surgery he's had, is probably not as good as it once was.
What do you know of his successor, Yousef al-Idrissi? Does this signal a change in Saudi Arabia's intelligence policy?
Well, I think time will tell. I mean, this is his first chance to take, a major role, and we'll see. I think the Saudi policy has changed. They're much more careful about who they're sending arms to now in Syria, and I think he'll work much more closely with the United States, because I think after Prince Bandar had made the statement about President Obama, it was very difficult for the Americans to work with him. And as you've heard in your run-up there, I mean, he had been very close to the Bush family, and of course, I don't think he had the same chemistry with President Obama and his people.
Does Bandar's departure give any clues as to how Saudi Arabia sees the war in Syria going?
Well, I think what the Saudis recognize, because Prince Bandar's main goal had been to get rid of Assad, I think what they recognize now is that there's no military solution. It's going to have to be a diplomatic solution. And so therefore, Assad may stay in one form or another, or at least have some sort of transition. But I think Prince Bandar had been, let's get rid of, Assad no matter what it takes, even if it involves arming some of the extremists.
Sir, thanks very much as ever for speaking to us. Lawrence Korb in Washington, D.C.